Well, the 10th anniversary of the Sars protest fast approaching, which is on the 8th of October, it's only right that we trace our minds back to the event which started it on the 10th of October 2020 right here in Ughelli, and the lessons learned during that period. All is hinged on the relationship between Nigerians and security agencies. It will be said that there has not been a better time rather than now, knowing that the country is facing or having concerns over insecurity, and the relationship that seems to exist between Nigerians and the security agencies is very well thought out of, especially knowing that Nigerians and security agencies are the victims to the cold hands of insecurity. With many panel of inquiry set up and recommendations made after the protest, how much of implementation has been made to help strengthen that bond that should naturally exist between the citizens and those saddled with the responsibility to better protect them? What are those things affecting or holding back those reforms now, and how can they how can they be dealt with? And what role should citizens play to better strengthen that relationship and help bring about the peace that seemed to have eluded us for more than a decade? So the big story for today, we shall critically look at the issues and see how best that gap can be bridged to bring about better understanding and coexistence between us, that's the citizens, and security agencies as we look at NSAS 3 years after. And that's what we're having as a major discourse today on the big story. We're talking about Nigerians and bringing about that trust with security agencies, 3rd year anniversary of the NSAS protest. That's what we're looking at, knowing that all the events that even started off the NSAS protest in 2020 started on the 3rd of October. And just next week, it will be the 3rd of October. But how can we bring about that trust between Nigerians and security agencies is what this edition of The Big Story is all about. And to truly help us talk about this today, we have a guest, a human rights activist. And we're talking of no other person but someone that is really well concerned in dealing with the issues that concerns that. Well, he was even part of the panel that was set up by the Delta State government on account of that very sad incident that happened in 2020. And I'm talking of no other person but activist Israel Joe. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me this morning.
Well, anyway, like I said, on the 8th of October, naturally, it will be 3 years since that very protest started. And, well, we do know how it spread from here in Ughelli and went around the country. But all was a call for better reform of the police, but all hinged on what I said initially, and that's a better working relationship between Nigerians and security agencies. But my question is, how have that relationship improved between them? Do we see there, or really there have not been any much major change between that trust between Nigerians and security agencies, even after that NSAS protest that happened 3 years back?
Anyway, I would say that the conversation since the NSAS has been opened, and there have been some element and, of course, high level of commitment from the side of the police towards ensuring that the incidents that led to the NSAS do not reoccur. But it's a protracted struggle in terms of just opposing the incidents that happened, the pre-NSAS and the post-NSAS era. So I think Nigerians are trying to develop that confidence in the police, but we cannot, as a matter of fact, to underscore the fact that a lot of police officers have not learned from the NSAS saga, and it still tells on Nigeria today, but the police authority, maybe the first headquarters and different command headquarters across the country have done much in terms of bringing to fore those disciplinary measures that would forestall or, not making those incidents that led to the NSAS to reoccur.
Okay. Now, we've had a lot of demands. We had a lot of demands during that very protest. But more of a reform are those that concerns investigation of human rights abuses and dealing with all those erring officers, then be dealt with. And not only that concerns that relationship between the citizens and the police. But also, better pay for the police was also a part of the demand. And knowing that if they are better paid, then we might really have less incidences of them pushing forward and harassing citizens on account of getting money from them. But my next question is, why have we not had reasonable successes in achieving it? Undermining, we had the reforms. Undermining, we had the panel of inquiries. Undermining, we had all of that. Why have we had little successes in bringing about that trust? Let's try to understand.
Nigerians generally do not have the confidence in the police because of the already damaged image that has been created over the time in terms of human rights abuses, police brutality, over detention, extortion, and victimization of the Nigerian people. So we have not been able to achieve that feat because it has become a mindset in a lot of police officers. Even if you pay them $1 million per month, they are still going to get involved. So it's in as much as they are getting involved. Yes, a matter of mindset. But Nigerians, the institution is already evolving. Over the time, the Inspector General of Police, the present acting Inspector General of Police, the police hierarchy, they are trying their very best to bring sanity into the system in terms of disciplinary measures on area officers. You know, the first PPRO, you know, this a lot of on a recent time, we see how these persons, just the way they victimize the people, parade people, and those things. The first headquarters do parade airing officers online. Disciplinary measures are being taken openly. We see where police officers are being dismissed on camera. So I think that the authorities are doing their very best to ensure that they bring sanity into the police force, and they need the cooperation of Nigeria and Nigerians to get this done. And in as much as that is being done, the police should also do their best to ensure that human rights abuses are not taken, for granted, because without recourse to the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, the police should be able to exonerate people who are not guilty of crime. One of the greatest lies of the Nigerian state is the bail is free. We all know that bail is not free. When you go to these different stations, divisional headquarters, the command headquarters, the force headquarters, you see a level of intimidation and trying to clean their trust when they want to extort bail money from you. Just recently on the tweet, the first PPRO, ACP Adejobi said that when you want to, any police that demands money for bail, demand a receipt. We all know that that's the ideal, but it's not real. The ideal is different from the real. You cannot demand a receipt for bail from a police officer. They're going to throw you back into behind bars. And so we need to put these things into proper perspective to be able to showcase the reality that what is being said from the first headquarters is being pursued down to reality from the first headquarters to the command headquarters to the area command and to the divisions. Okay, now, we've talked greatly about that, and it looks as if we're solely putting it on the side of the Nigerian police force. But let's now look at the citizens themselves, because it takes two to tango. That's how it is, and that's the certainty of it. Now let's look at that and look at where the citizens, they lack also on their part, either in giving information that is right or wrong in dealing with issues that concern security, and also improving that trust between them and the Nigerian police force. Just recently, an incident occurred where, the governor of Rivers State Fame had to place a bounty in the heads of an alleged criminal, that uncut group, Iceland, that were involved in gruesomely murdering one of the DPOs in Auda, SP Bako. And so, people are not coming out to give information also because of the attitude of some police officers. By the time you become a whistleblower, these same police sometimes turn around to tell the suspect after being released that this person was the informant that brought the information that led to your arrest. So on that ground, you see people not cooperating with the police authority to give information. And when they don't cooperate with the police to give information, the police are not magicians.
Of course.
They will not be able to drive at intelligence-based policing, because we have gone past the era where you just march roadblock everywhere, demanding for papers, demanding to know who is who. No. In the 21st century, we cannot underscore or underestimate the importance of intelligence-based policing. Now also, you see citizens trying to set one or two persons up in giving information to the police. Yeah. Like the recent incident that happened at the River State Police Command, where a friend told Mr. Davison, when Mr. Davison is into pipeline surveillance. We all know that the pipeline surveillance contract being awarded by the federal government, down in the creek, they don't deal with naira, they don't deal with transfer. They credit these bureau de change allegis, and they go down to the creek and supply them hard currency of dollars to pay the boys that guide these pipeline federal government facilities. You know, this guy that is into this pipeline surveillance was paid that currency in his house. He kept the money in his house. And one of his friends went to the police and informed the police that there is some dollars in the house of this ex-militant. A friend. And the police came, they burst into the house, arrest the persons in the house, including the Mr. Davison, and they took them to the state CID in River State. What happened at the end of the day? Two of his cars, the Chevrolet and the Toyota Camry, was taken along, 2 plasma television, clothes and shoes of the suspects. He took them to the state CID at the cybercrime. They investigated and found out that this person is not culpable of this crime. They told him, he wrote more than 5 different statements. In some statements, they told him to write that he's into Yahoo. Other ones were trying to kidnapping. Other ones, they were just looking for ways around the money, hard currency, which translates into almost 100 million naira. At the end of the day, we got involved in the issue on disguise, and even the IPO was telling me, like, 30 million will be going to the Inspector General of Police, 20 million will be going to the CP.
Just sharing it
to
on
share the
own
money.
Yeah.
That they told the guy to leave town when they released him, and he should look for money elsewhere to pay the. At the end of the day, about 12 million naira was released to the suspects, the 2 cars, and they told him that you leave. And they were telling us this. We petitioned to the first reporters.
And this is an information coming from a friend.
From a friend.
A citizen.
Yes, to set up a fellow citizen. As I speak to you right now, the Commissioner of Police, the Deputy Commissioner of Police, the AC State CID in River State, 2 days ago and yesterday, they were in Abuja because I personally wrote to that petition to the Inspector General of Police to intervene and ensure that these area officers are brought to book. How would you share a money seen from a citizen after investigating that this money is not a proceed from crime?
And the citizen, the friend, was involved in all of this?
The friend was involved. Of course, he was giving money. And as we speak right now, he's at large.
Okay, so that brings me to my next question, because all we are saying, we're talking about proper collaboration between Nigerians and security agencies. And if we do not give proper information, I'm talking about the citizens, the police will not act and will not work, just like what you've said. So let's look at that. Where do we as citizens lack it in dealing with this issue of improving that relationship?
Where we are lacking it is the fact that we have lost confidence in our security agencies. Yeah. We have lost serious confidence in them, and we are not giving information. Like I said before now, the person you are giving information can turn around and tell whoever you have given the information against that this is the whistleblower that gave that information. So that trust is not there. So in as much as the citizens have lost that confidence in the police force, in the security agencies, the security agencies must try as much as they can to build integrity around themselves and the institution so that we are able to give that information that will let. How can you say someone is declared wanted and is still in a community? He's still in a society where people live. He still lives among people. He does everything among people. That's to tell you that even when a bounty of a whopping 100 million naira is placed upon someone, that I see nobody coming forth to say that this person is a close door neighbor that lives behind me, it tells much. how it tells most of the denigration and degeneration of the trust in the security agents amongst in Nigeria.
Okay, well, I'll plead with you to hold on. We need to go on a break now. And when we come back, we'll continue our discussion centered on, 3 years after, we're looking at how to better improve that working relationship between the Nigerian police force, and not just them, but security agencies and Nigerians. Because all of that protest was hinged on improving that very relationship and what it should be. As much as we're also looking at how it is, we'll also look at how to better improve it. On the side of both Nigerians and security agencies, because you agree with me that we all seem to suffer on account of that loss of trust and loss of cooperation between both of us. Insecurity knows nobody. It doesn't know if you're a security agency or a Nigerian, and we're always at the losing end. But how can we bring back that trust? How can we build it? And how can we also improve all of that is what this edition of The Big Story is all about. Let's go on a break.